Take 47. No, I'm just kidding. What's up? Coach Fryer here. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here today. Let me ask you a question. Are you struggling right now with any level of perfectionism? Right? You want everything to be perfect. You're comparing yourself to others because they are perfect. Well, if that's you by any chance, stick around because in today's video, I want to share 3 simple things that are going to help you overcome perfectionism today. Stay tuned. Now, I'm about to share a couple of stories of how I personally have been working through perfectionism. But before I do, if you're brand new to my channel, I just want to say, oh my gosh, welcome. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Coach Fryer. Hey there. What's up? I teach and help entrepreneurs transform ideas into profit and inspiration into impact. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and maybe share it with others you think this might also be able to help. Let's dig into the content. So there's a couple of different ways we can view perfectionism, and I want to share just 2 quick stories about how this has affected me personally, and maybe you can relate, okay? Number 1, we've been in business now, full-time at home for the last 8.5, 9 years. I personally have always struggled with wanting to do everything myself, right? Delegating tasks or hiring help or, asking others to help, whatever. I always was afraid of giving tasks to other people because I would feel like it wouldn't be up to my level, right? I thought I could do things much better, and I felt like even when I started to delegate tasks and hired a couple of full-time assistants, I found myself hovering over them, right? Making sure everything was perfect, right? That's one instance of how I've been struggling with perfectionism over the years. A completely different way to look at perfectionism, and one I think you can relate to even more so, is if you're like me, right? You've compared yourself to others, especially the people you're connected to on social media. I want to share a second quick story. You see, it was a few years ago that I'm in the generic space of coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs all around the world. I know there are many others out there who do what I do, right? And it's very easy to find yourself following those other mentors, teachers, trainers, what have you, and very easily comparing yourself to those folks. I'll be honest with you. I was on a lot of their email list. I followed most of them on social media. And so every single day, I was exposing myself to them. And what I was actually doing, what I didn't realize, is I was comparing their strengths to my weaknesses. Now, I don't know where you're at in your journey right now, but I'm assuming you follow lots of other folks online who maybe do what you do, people that inspire you, people that are maybe a couple of steps ahead of you. And quite often, maybe you're on their email list and you get emails from them all the time. And a lot more times than not, we find ourselves comparing ourselves to those folks. We compare their chapter 10 to our chapter 1. One huge epiphany that happened for me was I absolutely, and I'm going to give you a quick tip before I share the 3 ways to overcome this perfectionism, is I had to unfollow every single one of those people. Not saying I didn't like them or didn't look up to them. I just couldn't expose myself to their content anymore. And second, I unsubscribed from all their email lists. This immediately felt like it took a weight off my shoulders. And I think if you do something similar, again, maybe it doesn't have to be forever, but at least for right now during this time, because that's adding to the pressure, the stress that you're feeling of being perfect. So let's dig into 3 simple things you can do to overcome your level of perfectionism, right? No matter what area of your life or business you might be struggling in this with, right? Number 1 might be a little reiteration of what I just said. So number 1, write this down. How you can overcome perfectionism is eliminate or drastically reduce, right, the amount of exposure you have to the people you're comparing yourself to. Maybe it's a friend of yours online. You love them dearly. You think they're amazing, but they're like 10 steps ahead of you. Maybe they've had way more success than you. They've got the fancy cars and the perfect lifestyle and all this stuff. First and foremost, nobody's life is perfect, by the way, right? You, my friend, were made in God's image. You are special. You have value to give. You don't need to be comparing yourself to your friends or other folks that you are exposing yourself online. I want you to understand, it's not mean. Heck, you don't even have to tell them if you don't want to, but you need to unfollow them, because exposing yourself to that person or their lifestyle or whatever it is you're comparing yourself to, right? Okay, feeding your mind with that every single day, seeing it in your social news feed is really hurting, right? Your level of success and pushing you into feeling like you have to be perfect, and that's just not fair. Is this making sense so far? Awesome. Well, here's the second step on how you can overcome perfectionism, okay? Number 2, you have to give yourself permission to succeed. I want to ask you a question right now. What is the next step you need to take? For some of you, maybe it's doing step number 1, right? Unfollowing some folks, right? Maybe for others of you, maybe it's giving your assistant or hiring an assistant and giving yourself some grace to pass off some of the work, the workload that you have, knowing that it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to help you out tremendously, right? Okay, what is that common phrase? How do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. You have to stop comparing yourself to others. And I think these first couple of tips is going to really help you take that first step in the right direction. Again, number 2, you have to give yourself permission to succeed. And if everything you're doing has to be perfect, you're prolonging the process of you creating success. Lastly, I want to share the third tip to help you overcome perfectionism today, and it's a brand new acronym I just created. It's very simple. Write this down. It's going to make a whole lot of sense, right? If you really, really, really want to overcome this whole perfectionism or perfectionitis or being perfect, however you want to talk about it, right? Okay, I want you to write this down. I need you to act, learn, and then act again. So the acronym is ALA. I want you to act, learn from those actions, and then take the action again. Does this make sense? Your greatest teacher, what's that quote? Your greatest teacher is your last mistake. So how are you going to overcome being perfect? So many of you sometimes are getting ready to get ready, right? When it comes to doing work and wanting it to be perfect, right? Okay, your greatest teacher is your last mistake. You'll overcome perfection or perfectionism by taking action, learning from your mistakes, and then taking some more action. Maybe someone you reached out to, you shared your product, your service, your business with them, and you didn't get the response that you wanted, right? Okay, that's okay. You did the action. Now we're going to learn from your mistakes. Maybe you could have worded things a little bit better. Maybe you could have been a little bit more postured. Maybe it could have been something completely different, right? But now you learn from that mistake. Now you go act again. That doesn't mean that you stop sharing your products. You stop sharing your opportunity or services with folks just because someone said no. Act, learn, act, right? Okay? By doing this very acronym, you're going to improve not only your skill set, but this is going to help you overcome that feeling of things having to be perfect all the time. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Are you gobbling up all these nuggets? Well, hey, I'm so excited and thankful that you tuned into today's video. Again, if this was helpful in any way, shape, or form, hit the like button right now, subscribe to my channel, and hey, my whole thing is sharing is caring. Someone else out there that you're connected to needs to hear this message today. Maybe someone you're connected to, they're in a phase right now of just struggling and thinking everything has to be perfect. They're comparing themselves to others on social media. Share this video so that they too can be inspired and go out there and start getting better results. God bless you, your family, and your business. We'll see you next week. Let's prepare to impact.